Hey guys, I'm Nisha Homi. Today I'm sharing green Moong Dal paratha recipe, ideal as a filling and fiber-rich breakfast or as a healthy lunch. So let's get started with the recipe. Into my small chutney grinder, I'm adding in a small piece of ginger, 1 green chilli. Green chilli you can increase or decrease as per your taste. 1 cup of green moong sprouts. I have already shared how to sprout green moong dal at home. Links will be updated below this video. Please do check it out. Half teaspoon sea salt or as needed. Half teaspoon ajwain, also known as carom seeds. I'm adding the ajwain into my hand and crushing it, and then adding it into the grinder jar so that the flavors are released. Half teaspoon jeera, also known as cumin seeds. Half teaspoon Kashmiri chilli powder. Half teaspoon amchur powder, also known as dry mango powder. 1/3 teaspoon turmeric powder. Today I am using Vigon turmeric, which has high curcumin content. 1/4 teaspoon whole black peppercorns. Black pepper helps in better assimilation of turmeric. Some fresh coriander leaves, about 1 to 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to coarsely grind all this. And the ingredients are now coarsely ground, and once coarsely ground, this is how it should be. Transfer the ingredients into a bowl. Into this I'm adding in 1 cup khapli wheat. Khapli wheat, also known as emmer wheat, is an ancient variety of wheat grain which has a very weak gluten molecule. It is rich in fiber, and the high fiber will also help to keep you feel fuller for a longer time. Because of its low gluten content, khapli wheat is more easily digestible when compared to modern hybrid wheat. So if you have noticed having digestive issues when consuming modern hybrid processed wheat, then if you switch to khapli wheat, you will notice that your digestion will be much better. So into this I'm adding in 1 cup of khapli wheat. Also note that the color or hue of khapli wheat is slightly different than of modern processed wheat. Khapli wheat is also slightly coarser than modern processed wheat. Now I have been using khapli wheat in my videos since the time I started this channel. You can go back to my older videos wherein I have shared how to make roti with khapli wheat, many cake recipes using khapli wheat. Please do check it out. Just go back to the older videos or search on YouTube khapli wheat skinny recipes. Then the recipes with khapli wheat which I have shared earlier will come up. And this way you can get more information on khapli wheat and how to include khapli wheat in your diet. Next I'm adding in some fresh coriander leaves. About 2 tablespoons will be ideal. Half of an onion finely chopped, and give this all a good mix. I have measured 1/4 cup of water and I am adding in little by little and kneading it into a soft dough. I'm going to give this all a good mix. This ancient indigenous variety of wheat grain is highly beneficial for those with gluten intolerance or has any intolerance to modern processed wheat. You can make roti, paratha, cakes, biscuits, etc. with this highly nutritious indigenous variety of wheat grain known as khapli wheat. Once roughly mixed, I'm adding in the rest of the water and mixing it really well. Once I've gathered it into a dough, I'm adding in a splash of wood-pressed groundnut oil and giving it all a good mix. Instead of wood-pressed groundnut oil, you can use A2 desi ghee or any oil of your choice. Make sure it is wood-pressed so that you can get the maximum benefit out of the oil you are using. Once mixed, I'm going to allow it to rest for about 15 minutes. Now since this indigenous wheat variety has a very weak gluten molecule, resting the dough is highly beneficial to help release the very little amount of gluten it has. Thus it will be more easier to knead. Now if you look at the dough which has been kneaded, you can notice that it is not that sticky. There is very little stickiness or that sticky gluten which you can find in modern processed wheat. So you need to allow it to rest for about 15 minutes for the gluten network to work, which will help to make better rotis out of khapli wheat. So I'm going to allow it to rest for 15 minutes. It's about 15 minutes now, and I'm going to knead it again. Once the dough has rested for 15 minutes, the dough has become a little soft, as you can see. You will notice a very big difference once the dough has rested. So I'm going to knead it a couple of times, and once thoroughly kneaded, divide the dough into equal sized portions. I have divided the dough into 6 equal sized portions. To roll the paratha, sprinkle some khapli wheat flour on the work surface and lightly spread it out. Place one dough and lightly press it down. Sprinkle some khapli wheat flour and make sure it is lightly coated with the khapli wheat flour. With a rolling pin, roll it out thinly into a round roti. You can dust it with khapli wheat flour if at all you feel it is sticking. Roll it out as thinly as possible. Drizzle in a little bit of wood pressed groundnut oil. Instead of wood pressed groundnut oil, you can use A2 desi ghee or any wood pressed oil of your choice. And spread the wood pressed oil all over the roti. Fold the roti like this. Drizzle in a little bit of wood pressed oil. Again fold it, little bit of oil and fold it over. Lightly press it down. Sprinkle some khapli wheat flour and roll into a square paratha. Once rolled out, keep this paratha aside. I'm transferring it to a plate. Repeat the same thing with the rest of the dough. Sprinkle some khapli wheat flour on top. Coat the dough with the khapli wheat and roll it out into a thin round. Drizzle in a little bit of wood pressed groundnut oil. Fold it into thirds. Fold the roti as I am showing. Sprinkle some khapli wheat on top and roll it into a square paratha. Once rolled, transfer to a plate. So I'm going to roll out the rest of the parathas and keep it on the plate. Once the cast iron tawa is heated, dust off excess flour and place the paratha onto the hot cast iron tawa. 20 to 30 seconds later, carefully flip it over. Drizzle in a little bit of wood pressed groundnut oil. Flip it over. Little bit of oil. Cook the paratha on both sides until it is cooked through. When working with khapli wheat, what I have noticed is that it takes a little extra time to cook when compared to modern processed wheat. So you need to make sure that it is thoroughly cooked. When compared to modern wheat, khapli wheat does take some extra time to cook through. Flip it over a couple of times. Lightly press down with a spatula. This is just to make sure that the insides are cooked thoroughly. Once both sides are perfectly cooked, remove it from the tawa. Place the next roti onto the hot tawa and let it cook for about 30 seconds. 30 seconds later, flip it over. Drizzle a little bit of wood pressed groundnut oil. Flip it over and allow both sides to get cooked thoroughly. Repeat the same thing with the rest of the rolled out parathas. You can enjoy this healthy paratha with raita, side dish of your choice, or even with any pickle of your choice. See the layers in the paratha, and it is perfectly flaky paratha. This paratha will stay soft for a longer time, hence ideal to carry as a lunchbox meal. So guys, do try this healthy paratha recipe and let me know in the comments how it turned out. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care. Bye bye.